Okay, so in this video, I'm going to attempt to give you all a really short crash course in the different characteristics of an academic article, sometimes called a scholarly journal article or a peer-reviewed journal article. A lot of these terms are used interchangeably, and you probably have to use some of these sources for the work that you're doing. So it's important to understand what it is that you're looking at. So a scholarly article or a peer-reviewed article is one that has a few standard characteristics usually. Usually the author or authors are experts in a specific discipline or subject area. The article will usually be a report of some sort of research that that person or that team of people has conducted. And it will be written up in a sort of standard way that's typical to scholarly articles. The other thing is that the journal or publication that these are published in, there's all sorts of scholarly or academic journals out there on all sorts of different topics. So I'm going to sort of go step by step through an example of this. Based on the results that I have here on the screen, I'm going to take a look at this first article. And there's going to be another video that you can watch about how to actually find these things, but this video is focused on explaining to you what they are. So this is a result in eSearch that I found that is a peer-reviewed scholarly article. If I click on preview, I can see a summary of this article or an abstract of the article, and this is a short synopsis of what the research is about. So if I look at that and it looks good, at that point I'd want to look at the full text, and that's what we're going to look at here. So where did it go? Here it is. So this is the full text of the article that we found in eSearch. And the title of the article is The Effects of Active Social Media Engagement with Peers on Body Image in Young Women. There's two authors, and they are both from the Department of Psychology at York University in Toronto. One really easy thing that you can do to find out more about an author and what their expertise is to just Google their names, and that's what I did. So I Googled both Jacqueline Hogue and Jennifer Mills, and I discovered that Jennifer Mills is an associate professor at York, the director of clinical training for the clinical psychology graduate program. So she's a professor at this institution. And Jacqueline Hogue, from her LinkedIn profile, it looks like she is a doctoral candidate there. So she was a graduate student or a PhD student working with this professor on this research project. And this is the result of the research that they engaged in. So this is a fairly short academic article. It's 5 pages, but it does follow a pretty standard outline for an academic article. So we talked about the title, we talked about the authors and their expertise. So Jennifer Mills, if she's a professor in the Department of Psychology, she has advanced degrees in the subject area. And so she has a lot of, she could be thought of as an authoritative source, right? The other thing that you want to know is that the publication that it came from. So this is the journal that this article is published in. It's an actual publication called Body Image. And we can look at the journal page to find out more about what this publication is. So it says right here, Body Image is an international peer-reviewed journal that publishes high-quality scientific articles on body image and human physical appearance. Blah, blah, blah. So this is one article in this publication. Articles are published in journals like they're published in other sorts of serial publications like magazines and newspapers. So it's from a peer-reviewed journal. Peer review means that, so if the author is an expert in psychology, she's a professor in psychology, her peers would be other experts. So on this journal, there is a review board. So if we clicked on this, you'd be able to view the names of the people that are on that editorial board. And my guess would be that they are probably other experts in this field, right? They're other experts that study issues related to body image. So not only is this article written by an expert, but it's been reviewed by other experts to make sure that it's, good, new, original research. So the parts of an academic article are sort of standard, but they'll vary a little bit depending on the subject or discipline that the article is published in. So here's the abstract that we mentioned before. There's an introduction, so they're introducing their research. Their method, so this is what they did. This is how they went about doing their research study. The results of their research, and then a discussion. And at the very end of the article, you're going to see a list of references. This is a really important part of an academic article because what it's showing you is that these authors, they incorporated other people's research into the research that they're doing. So they're part of this ongoing conversation about the issues surrounding the research that they're doing. And their goal is to add something new and relevant to the discipline that they're experts in, right? They want to share new original research with their field. So that's a very quick and dirty overview of an academic article. Just wanted to make sure that you all know what it is that you're looking at when you're finding these sources, because they can look a lot different than the other kinds of sources you're probably used to seeing. One last piece of academic or scholarly articles is that because they are written by and for experts, there's often a lot of jargon in them. And jargon is a fancy word for specialized language. So these people are writing for other experts like them, right? And so they're assuming a base level of knowledge about the issues that they're discussing. So that means you might encounter words or concepts that are totally foreign to you. And that is because you are not an expert on this subject yet, right? You are a new college student just getting started with academic research. So I'm mentioning that because if you ever find an article where you simply cannot make sense of what the authors are trying to say, you don't want to use it as a source. So remember, you are not the audience for these articles. Other experts are the intended audience. So if you can't make sense of an article, it does not mean that you're deficient in any way. It just means that you have more learning to do on that subject. So don't ever use an article as a source that you really can't make sense of, okay? So hopefully this helps you understand what these sources are that you're finding. And again, check back on the research guide for the video that is about how to actually go about finding scholarly articles.